Welcome back, Hamsternauts. It's been a while, hasn't it? There's a reason for that. The short explanation is I'm running out of money. Inflation has hit everybody hard, and the Patreon has steadily sunk down to about $570 at last count, which is enough for replacement filters, for replacement batteries for the pumps, for Hampture food, for all the different supplies I need to keep it going. Hence the title of the video, it's on life support. It's just not enough to really continue buying parts to finish the habitat proper. I bought as much as I could while I was able to. I've got the habitat shells for module number 2 of the double-decker HAB system. It really helped that the IRS didn't tax me this year because of my Bitcoin losses. Don't worry too much about me. I bought a lot of canned food and whatnot, and dehydrated food when the COVID lockdown started. I've been eating that little by little. I'm down to the last of it now. I've got a 10-pound bag of rice back there and a rice cooker up here. So I'm not going to starve. I'm just going to be eating a lot of sodium and I guess mummifying myself. But that might be cool. I mean, maybe I'll turn into like a lame Abbott and Costello mummy. But on the other hand, I could turn into like a cool mummy, like The Rock from that one movie. There's a cat now. Lab assistant number 002, who I have so far failed to rehome, and maybe that's a sign that I just need to keep her. She's very vocal and constantly anxious, but she's growing on me. Anyway, that's not to say, despite the financial troubles, that I haven't been up to anything at all. I've been working on very small projects, like upgrading my setup with this slide-out computer tray and this laptop tray so that the surface is clear for me to work on projects. Then I don't really have a workshop. I don't have a workbench to do stuff with tools on. I need clear space on my desk, and also my cats like to sleep there. Although, of course, as soon as I installed all this shit, because they couldn't interfere with my use of the keyboard by sleeping on the keyboard, they didn't want to sleep on the desk anymore. That's just how cats are. They're constantly fucking with you. But there's also a couple smaller projects that I didn't really think were worth making videos about. Like, I had the idea of putting a remote control LED beacon on the top of my car's cargo carrier because it's up above the rest of the cars, above the eye line. Because often when I park someplace in a large lot at night, I can't find my car in the lot afterwards, and unlocking to turn on the headlights doesn't help as much as you would think because, of course, the lights are very low down. I needed something up above that would distinguish my car from the rest. So I found this. This is intended for tractors. It's not really meant to be activated over long distance. Although, cat, stop. It appears to work over long distances. This is what it looks like running. There's a couple different lighting modes. It has a magnet and a suction cup. I'm going to have to find a better mounting system because I'm afraid it's going to come off while I'm driving. I don't think it forms that good of a seal. Also, it goes to sleep. There's like a sleep mode when I'm not using it. So if I take too long in the store, I have to power it back on manually before it will respond to the remote. It has a power outlet that's 12 volts, so I could always just attach a trickle charging solar panel to it, mount that up on the car, and that should keep it, just send a keep alive signal basically. Here's what it looks like being used. Really useful, right? That's what I said. I'm really surprised that nobody has invented this idea already and then I had to adapt something meant for tractors. You would think all modern cars would have this feature, that they'd have some kind of extending, like, motorized mast so that the light is really up high. But would it be a problem if everyone had one? No, not as long as they're not all going off at the same time. You could also probably customize the LED color so you know what to look for. As for the mice are doing fine. You can see the stream behind me. That's been the big news switch as of the last video, is going from hamsters to mice. And I think it was the right choice. I'll show you a little footage of those little guys right now. Here are the tiny aquatic mouse lads doing just fine in their subaquatic utopia. I've been really pleased with the switch from hamsters to mice, actually. having two of them in there interacting is much more fun to watch. Oh, his little buddy's or her, I should say, her little buddy's making an appearance. They spent a lot of time in that little pod. Learned some important things. Within the first week, they hadn't drunk any water, and I was panicking. I went on Google and said, how long can a mouse live without water? And it said over a month. Hello, Gremlin. And it's over a month, surprisingly. It's like a month and a half. It's insane. Yeah, you're the star of the show now. But I intuited something was wrong, so I screwed the water bottle in tighter, and I guess it's important to maintain an isolated pressure system between the bottle and the interior of the hat, because as soon as I did that, they began to drink. The water level started to go down. Before then, they were trying to drink frantically, very, very often, and I couldn't tell if they were getting any water or not, but I eventually realized they weren't, because there were never any bubbles. Do you mind? So that was an important thing to figure out. Hamsters are even less of a water hog. I guess these mice and hamsters in general have very meager water needs because they get most of the water. Could you be quiet? Most of the water they need from their food, even stuff we would consider too dry to hydrate anyone. So that was one thing I figured out. The other thing is I thought maybe they're running out of food. I drained the water, opened up the thing, and I looked inside the vending machines. They're empty. It looks like they bury it. They don't like it inside the vending machines. They dig it all out, and they bury it under the fluff over here. I couldn't see how much there was, though, because it was buried, and that worried me, because they could run out and I wouldn't know. They also don't eat everything in the mix. So, just to be safe, Gremlin, seriously, I put a little transparent tub of extra food in the right-hand module, since this is largely wasted space anyway. That lets me see that if they run out of food over here, they'll come and start eating food over here more often. And when that starts to run out, I know they're really nearing the end of their food. It was just a learning experience. I'm glad nothing serious came of it. I'm glad that mice are as robust as they are, like hamsters. Once I got everything squared away, they did drink a whole lot of water in a short period of time, which I suppose I should have expected. I didn't want any tragedy unfolding, so I do keep a close eye on these little critters and their consumption patterns and their behaviors, and try to make inferences from that and do what's necessary if there are any corrective measures required. Well, apparently I can't film anything around here without Gremlin singing the song of her people. She's a perpetually anxious fancy poof who cries all the time except for when she's being held. She's one of those cats. Whereas All Ball is more of the, I am the danger. I am the darkness. You are already dead. Ninja cat. They're very different. They would make a good sitcom if they were like human roommates or something. But living with these two cats is considerably less charming sometimes. Anyway. Now, as for what's happening with the pond, the family friend who was doing all that work for us at really unreasonably low rates, bless his heart, has broken his back. Literally has slipped a disc and had to go to the hospital. So he probably won't be doing that again for us. And with the winter months setting in, that work is going to slow down considerably. It's going to get done. I'm not sure when. I have a plan I've talked about previously on the stream to consolidate all my project stuff outside in a sort of cluster, a little like settlement for animals, where I have the dome over the pond and I have all the hamster stuff around the pond, and then I have Kitty City, which is the skyscraper for cats, set up next to it, and any additional towers I can afford to build, which would be nice. So Gremlin and All Ball have like a little playhouse, and All Ball in particular, since she's just kind of a really independent cat. I still intend to move towards that with whatever baby steps I can afford. I hate to beg on this channel, which is why I've been trying to get sponsorships. I need funding to increase. I've been looking into going back to doing delivery driving and whatever else I can do, selling my work to horror podcasts and whatnot, just to raise some extra money. I really want to continue with this project, but the Patreon has to increase, or in some other way the income has to go up. I'm going to be part of that. if you're watching this and you want to be part of it and you want to see this project come off of life support and make meaningful advances again, you know where the link for that is. And if you'd rather get something more direct in exchange for your hard-earned money, you can buy my book, which is linked in the video description. It's a physical TradPub book. Looks like this. Very nice product. Has a dust jacket. Details on the inside. Hardbound. The price recently dropped from $40 to $30, which is, I know it's still a steep ask. We're just trying to recoup some of the investment money put into producing the book, because the production of the figures that came with the book for the Indiegogo backers, these really put us over the top and were unexpectedly expensive to make all these for the backers. So I don't know if we'll do that next time, or if we do, we'll choose something that is less expensive to produce. There won't be a book this year as a consequence of that miscalculation. They're looking to drum up more of a fan base for my work through the production of a YouTube channel with audio narrations, kind of like No Sleep Podcast, but just for my work. And hopefully, fingers crossed, that will increase awareness of my brand enough that by next October, I'll have another book on the way. If not, I'll have to shop around for other publishers who want to produce some of my as yet unpublished work. So yeah, that's it for this time. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I would love to have more to show you. It's why I didn't do a video last month, but I realized I couldn't just keep on skipping months, and I felt you were owed a status update, just checking in on where things are at right now. I'm thinking of just doing stuff like animations, musical animations like I've done in the past, and smaller projects for a couple months going forward until I have the money saved up, or until my Patreon is increased to the point where I can start getting busy building more hardware and putting it in the water. So let me know what you think of that in the comments. And again, check out those links. All the stuff that I have for sale and to offer you guys besides the whole Hampture project can be found there in the video description.